What's going on, guys? Matt Wacek here, coming at you with a brand new video, and today I want to share with you two different strategies that are going to help you get more traffic to your site that you can start doing today, and they're going to cost you nothing except for your time to do the work, or if you want to outsource the content creation, then there's obviously going to be a cost with that. However, these two strategies are going to allow you to grab traffic that is not geo keyword specific, so basically city plus service. Now, don't get me wrong, those are still some of the best traffic sources out there by far, and these methods are going to serve you best when you're building out a nationally focused site, or at least a multiple statewide site within Magic Page plugin. So break these two strategies down. So the first strategy is going to come from just optimizing the on-page content of your service pages. So you have your homepage here, and then you have, let's say it is, I'll go with lawn care because it's just super easy for me to go off with the services. So you have your core pages here, you have your about us, get a quote, and then you have services pages, and let's say this is just a broad service, and then you have child pages beneath it for each individual service. So what you'd want to do for getting more traffic with this, especially if you have a national site, because some networks, or maybe if you're selling the leads directly to a business, these types of optimizing, like how I'm going to show you, is going to get you traffic from across the entire country. And if you're selling the leads directly to one business that's in one specific area and someone calls them from the other side of the country, then that's just a waste. So these are going to work best if you're working with a network that has the coverage across the entire country. So LeadSmart is going to be probably one of your best bets with this. So for these services pages, let's say the first one we have is mowing, and then we have aeration, and then we have fertilizing and weed control services. And so how you're going to optimize this to get additional traffic is with a single city focused site, you are going to utilize basically just mowing in that single city. And that's what you would do there. But when you're doing this with a national site, what you do is lawn mowing near me. And then you could do grass cutting, since it's another synonym essentially. And so you do the same thing here for aeration. You would do, so then for aeration, you're going to do either lawn aeration, or maybe you would do core aeration near me. Actually, you could probably do it over here. It's core. And I know that not everybody does lawn care, so let's say you're maybe doing plumbing. So what you would do is you, of course, have your plumbing services page, but then you have child pages for each individual service page that goes a little bit more in depth with each one of those services. So you have pipe repair, you have emergency service, you have faucet replacement or fixture replacement or toilet installation or whatever individual service that it is, and you have a page that's all about it. And usually you're going to want to have about 300 to 500 words worth of content on there. Because then if someone, again, because you are building a national site, wherever they are across the nation, types in pipe repair near me or toilet installation near me or what have you, you're going to have a good likelihood of showing up there. And one of the best things about these particular searches is not only one, do they have a lot of traffic for some of these, like lawn aeration right here, 1,000 searches per month. And if you're building a Magic Page plugin site and you're using the dynamic backlink and then also getting some Web 2.0s and then eventually PBN links, and you're going to start to see your site starting to rank for some of these searches like this and getting a ton of traffic. And this is definitely a buyer intent traffic. If someone were to go out there and type in how to aerate a lawn, they're not really looking to purchase that service for the most part. But again, if someone is searching for that and your website shows up, it doesn't really cost you anything for them to say, oh, well, hey, let's just see what a quote would be. Because we only really care about getting the lead coming through and monetizing that lead. We don't have to really worry about trying to sell that person on paying $100 to aerate their lawn in this instance. And if we come over here to another search for faucet repair near me, this one isn't quite as high of a volume, but the CPC is quite a bit higher. But again, it's another search just like that, where if you optimize just your meta title and your meta description, you could probably see your site rank second or third, maybe fourth page. And as you start building links, start building authority, and maybe even sending a couple PBN links to that page, you could see yourself ranking here up with Yelp and the other big companies out there. So that is the first strategy right here, is essentially just optimizing the content you're already creating. But I would only really recommend doing this if you're building out a big site. Because if you're doing this for a single city focused site, you don't want this lawn aeration to be near me. You want this to basically be your one single city. So it would be Minneapolis, for example, or whatever city it is that you're targeting. Now, the second strategy that comes into play is utilizing blog posts to hone in on some buyer-centric type of keywords. So a great example of this is going to be in really any niche that's not an urgent type of need. So these are going to be the niches that are almost like a luxury type of service, if you will, or they're at least something that someone's going to do a good bit of research before deciding to make a purchase. So these would be like home remodeling, building a deck, building a fence, doing lawn care, landscaping, new driveway installation, anything that's just not an urgent need, like you just had a pipe burst or a flood in your basement or something like that, where chances are it's really not going to be much research being done. They just want to get someone out there as soon as they can. So a great example of this that I built out with a blog post here is basically discussing when to aerate a lawn, because you can see the search volume here is huge, 3,600 per month and $3 cost per click. You can see some of the other related keywords as well. So I basically looked through some of these blog posts on this one website here, which is Briggs & Stratton, an engine manufacturer. This one here is from a grass seed company, and there's a few other big ones out here like Scott's Lawn Service, True Green, just massive companies. Toro is another one here. And I basically just answered the who, what, where, when, why, how with the aeration service. And there's tons and tons of other specific things that you could look up for pretty much every type of niche out there. Even if you wanted to do this with water damage, you certainly could. But you can see there's other people also ask a question here where it basically is just how often to aerate, what do you do afterwards, and you just create a blog post that answers those questions. And there is a good bit of competition for this, obviously, because you can see who's up here. It's not Yelp, and it's not anyone like that. It's going to be Briggs & Stratton, it's True Green. There's some competition. But being on this first page here is going to get you a serious amount of traffic. So essentially what I did was just go through and ask the question of what is it and why should you do it, other benefits and when should it be done, how to aerate. And you can see I utilized some of these questions in the H2 header. So Google will pick up on that on their bots when they index the page. And also for some of the links here, we have it basically do like lawn aeration pricing. And what that kind of does is signal to Google that, okay, that's what this particular page is about, and it's the get a quote page on this site. Then we have a link to the homepage that is anchor text of lawn care professional, and then of course request a quote down here. So a relatively simple process, and this will be a long-term kind of strategy when it comes to getting the traffic here, because again, 3,600 searches per month. It'll probably take several months to get for my blog post to be ranking here. But here's one way that you could do this with maybe just a single city focus site if you wanted to build out a blog, or maybe you did a statewide site. You can see right here that it says when to aerate lawn, and then if you have these options here for Minnesota. So what you could do is in MN, and this is going to have a little bit less search, obviously only 20, but you can see that there's a lot less competition here as well. So you have just the University of Minnesota stuff here, and you have like one local company, and then it looks like a national franchise, and then you have a newspaper article from 2016 that's ranking there. So granted, those are pretty high authority sites, especially like this news site, but as you build trust and authority in your site and build some PBN links, you'd probably see your site rank for these types of keywords especially. And this blog post here took me maybe, I don't know, an hour and a half to write, if that, and that's with me being really picky with how I write my content. So I encourage you to go out there and put both of these strategies to work, especially if you're building out a nationally focused site. Be utilizing the near me in the service pages, meta title and meta description, and then also when it comes, and if you're doing this on a single city focused site, you want to make sure that individual's page is all about that one sub-service in that particular city, and you're going to start seeing yourself get rankings from essentially some low-hanging fruit, because obviously there's less competition for a service like lawn mowing, that particular search result anyways, than lawn care, because it's just a little bit more longer tail of a keyword, if you will. And then also I encourage you to then go and look through some of the questions that are being asked regarding the specific services for the sites that you are building. And then look through some of the blog posts that are currently ranking, and then recreate some of the blog posts that you see. Don't rip their content by any means. Don't copy and paste. Just take a look and see what they have and create your own. Either go outsource it to someone on Legit or Fiverr, Upwork, or whatever, or write it out yourself and essentially answer some of the questions that you see for the main question that's being asked, and then also some of the other related keywords. So in the example here of when to aerate a lawn, you would maybe want to throw in best time to aerate the lawn, or answering the question of how much does lawn aeration cost, and that sort of stuff. So go out there and do a little bit of research, and maybe invest a couple hours into this, because one, it's going to help you be more versed in the service, and two, the higher quality content that's on the page, the better. If you go and spend $5 from someone on like iWriter and they write some type of blog post, it's going to be garbage. I almost can guarantee it. So take a little bit of time and invest into learning whatever this particular service is, so you understand it, so you can write the content about it, and you're going to thank yourself in the future, because that's going to be more likely to rank than some garbage, just trash blog post that hardly makes any sense. So just really look through the who, what, where, when, how, and why of that particular question that's being asked and answer it in a blog post and put it to work. And then as you start to see it indexed and you're building trust and authority with your sites, if you're using Magic Page plugin, you have that dynamic backlink builder in there. And then you can also still build other additional links as well, Web 2.0s. You can do social signals, especially with a blog post. That is something that can help tremendously. And then of course, PBN links if you wanted to do that as well. So now, with that said, if you got this far into the video, I appreciate if you went down below, dropped a like, and also if you're not already subscribed, be sure to go down below, join our ever-growing family, smash that subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you know when the newest content comes out. And also, if you want to get more guided step-by-step training where you can learn how to build a website, rank it in the organic search results, and monetize it with a local affiliate offer, there are links right down below to both of the courses where you can get access to guided step-by-step training and a whole lot more, as well as a whole host of other tools and services that I use every single day here in my business. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.